Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going on a seriously fascinating journey through the Internet of Things, or IoT. We're going to start way up high looking at the massive, macro architecture of how our modern, connected world is built. Then, we're zooming all the way down to the micro level to see how incredible, low-cost hardware like the Node MCU is literally saving lives. It's a brilliant story of technology scaling from global networks right down to a human heartbeat. Let's dive right in.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll define the IoT ecosystem. Then we'll look at cloud, edge, and fog. Third, how IoT devices actually communicate. Fourth, the massive 5G network upgrade. And finally, real-world IoT in healthcare.
All right, part 1, defining the IoT ecosystem. At its core, the Internet of Things is all about physical objects embedded with sensors, processing power, and software so they can connect and exchange data. But here's a really fun fact. The term Internet of Things is actually a bit of a misnomer. You see, most of these devices don't necessarily need to be connected to the public internet to do their jobs. A lot of times, they just need to be on a local network and be individually addressable. Think of it like they just need a reliable way to pass notes back and forth to each other in the same room.
Now you'll notice the IoT world essentially splits into two very distinct camps, consumer IoT and industrial IoT. The underlying tech, the sensors, the networks, the data, is mostly the exact same, but the end goals, totally different. Consumer IoT is your smart thermostat kicking in so your house is cozy when you walk through the door. It's all about convenience, right? Industrial IoT, on the other hand, integrates with heavy operational tech, like factory SCADA systems. We're talking about a mission-critical temperature sensor on a manufacturing arm that prevents a catastrophic equipment failure. So one makes your day-to-day life easier, while the other literally keeps the global supply chain running.
Moving on to part 2, cloud, edge, and fog.
To really wrap our heads around the structure of IoT, it helps to use a city infrastructure analogy. In our digital city, we've got two main types of nodes. First up, we have physical nodes. These are your sensors, actuators, and embedded devices. Think of them as the citizens of our IoT city. They're out there on the ground, doing the physical work and sensing the world. Then we have virtual nodes, which are things like virtual machines or networks. These act as the underlying services, the invisible infrastructure that supports our citizens and keeps all that data flowing smoothly.
So the big question is, how do we manage all the data these citizens are constantly creating? If every single sensor sent its data all the way to the cloud, the network would just collapse under the weight. That's where edge and fog computing come in. If the cloud is the central government far away in the capital, fog and edge computing act as your local municipalities. By processing data locally, right near the end users, fog computing drastically reduces the volume of data sent to the main data center. It also practically eliminates latency or wait time. Essentially, the local municipality handles all the minor, everyday issues, so only the really important stuff gets escalated up to the central government.
Part 3. How IoT devices communicate.
Let's talk about the languages these devices use to speak to each other. This is the Z-Wave protocol stack, and you can see it maps directly to the standard OSI model. Z-Wave is designed for short-range, point-to-point communication. It's absolutely perfect for things like smart home energy management. And it uses a really clever collision avoidance mechanism called CSMA-CA. Basically, it forces devices to politely listen and check if the network is clear before they speak. This keeps their data packets from crashing into each other. Then we have another major player you've probably heard of, Zigbee. Instead of just talking point-to-point, Zigbee uses what's called a mesh network topology. Check out the green dot in the center. That's the coordinator, the boss that forms the network. The dark blue dots are routers, and the smaller orange ones are the end devices. In a mesh network, if an end device is too far away to reach the coordinator directly, the routers just seamlessly pass the message along, kind of like a bucket brigade. It's highly collaborative, which massively extends the network's range and saves a ton of battery power. But what happens when you need to send data over standard, sometimes spotty IP networks? Enter MQTT. Let's de-jargonify this a bit. MQTT uses a publish/subscribe framework. Instead of a sensor trying to force a message directly to a computer, the sensor, which we call the publisher, sends its data to a central message broker. Then, any computers or apps that actually want that data just subscribe to the broker. The beauty of this is that if a device temporarily loses its connection, the broker just holds on to the message until it comes back online. It's a remarkably resilient way to handle unreliable networks. To summarize this communication piece, the protocol you use really just depends on the job at hand. If you need robust, reliable delivery over a potentially spotty internet connection, you're going to go with the TCP-based MQTT and its broker architecture. But if you've got a tiny battery-powered sensor that just needs to push a little blip of data to a nearby phone, you'd use something incredibly lightweight like Bluetooth Low Energy, or BLE. It has virtually no overhead and is absolutely ideal for constrained short-range setups.
Part 4. The 5G network upgrade.
Now, 5G isn't just about downloading movies faster on your smartphone, it is literally the backbone of the future IoT ecosystem. First off, faster data transfer means IoT devices can process heavy data immediately. Second, and this feels totally counterintuitive, 5G actually improves energy efficiency. Because it transmits data so astonishingly fast, the device can go back to sleep much quicker, saving precious battery life. Third, 5G drops latency down to mere milliseconds, making instantaneous robotic reactions possible. And fourth, the network is fundamentally designed to handle millions of devices simultaneously without dropping connections, even in really noisy, complex industrial environments. 5G is the ultimate enabler.
Finally, Part 5. Real-world IoT in healthcare. When you combine all these amazing macro technologies, you start seeing massive, life-saving breakthroughs in fields like healthcare. Researchers and engineers are actively using microcontrollers like Arduino and specifically the Node MCU to completely revolutionize patient care. The Node MCU is an absolute game changer because it has built-in Wi-Fi and is extremely low cost. We are basically taking the massive processing power and connectivity of the IoT ecosystem and condensing it onto a tiny board that costs a fraction of what traditional bulky hospital monitoring systems do. Using these tiny Node MCU boards, we can continuously track critical vital signs, body temperature, heart rate, blood oxygen saturation, and even full ECGs. And remember those communication protocols we talked about earlier? These devices gather those human metrics and seamlessly push them over the network using HTTP or MQTT protocols. The data goes securely to cloud IoT platforms like Blink or Yuba. This means a physician can monitor a patient's real-time heart rate right on their smartphone from anywhere in the world. It's safer, it's easier, and it is dramatically more affordable for everyone.
But, of course, this incredible level of connectivity leaves us with a pretty critical challenge to think about. As 5G allows us to rapidly deploy millions of these smart sensors globally, tracking everything from our factory floors to our actual heartbeats, how on earth do we secure this massive new attack surface? With our most sensitive, mission-critical data now constantly flowing through the air, finding the balance between total connectivity and absolute security is the next great frontier of the Internet of Things. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope this leaves you with a whole lot to think about regarding our connected future.